Hi, my name is Bridget Pasker. I'm the new Associate Principal Cellist of the Phoenix Symphony. And I just wanted to talk to you about excerpts a little bit, how we prepare them and what will happen on your audition day for the Arizona All-State. The most important part, of course, is preparing the excerpts and making sure that we have them at the absolute best of our abilities. So to do that, the first thing that I do when I'm learning any new excerpt, especially a new excerpt, is to make sure that I go and listen to it. So by doing that, you don't necessarily need to listen to the entire piece, but definitely listen to the entire movement of the excerpt. And that will help you know what your role is, what our role as a cellist is in that particular spot in our excerpt. And then you'll also know who is the most important line if it's not us. So who is the most important? Is it the violins? Is it the oboe? Is it the clarinet? Is it the tuba? What does the melody sound like? And that will help inform you how to prepare your excerpt in a way that lets the judges or the committee know that you know what's going on around you. So once you know what your role is and where it fits within the orchestra, we have to practice it. So the most important parts to practice and really focus on when you're learning excerpts is intonation, rhythm, dynamics, and then articulations. So intonation, get yourself a tuner. You can download apps on like your phone or a tablet. You can download apps that have a metronome and a tuner all in one. They're great. Sometimes you can even have ones that like metronome, tuner, and a recording device, which I'll get to later. Just so that you have all of the tools that you need to know that you're learning it precisely. So you want to make sure that intonation is the best that you possibly can play. Your rhythm is just like rock solid. Play with the metronome all the time. Play with subdivisions. So like in the Elgar, and like in particular, make sure that you're practicing with eighth notes or triplets against the eighth notes and triplets that are in there so that you know that they're being divided out really precisely. And then dynamics, obviously, exaggerate. So like make sure that your fortissimo is not your peak, not like the absolute most. Leave yourself like just a little bit, 5% maybe, of your optimal top sound. Not optimal, like maxing out top sound. Because when we're in the audition room, we're probably going to push a little bit too hard. So we want to practice just a little bit from the top. And then the bottom can be really, 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 truly soft. One of the biggest issues with any audition is that we don't actually commit to playing softly. So don't be afraid to really get those quiet dynamics in there. The last thing was articulation. And articulation starts to get us into the style of the excerpt. So different composers are going to have different articulations. Like in the Mozart, you want something that's a little bit lighter and a nice bouncy bow, always from the string. So make sure that you're feeling the bow hair grab the string every single stroke that you take. The Bach is similar, but it's a little bit brushier, so you're going to stay on the string more. Whereas a Mozart is a little bit more off the string and bouncy. Also going in with style is you can start thinking about rubato. So once you've gotten your rhythm really, really solid, then you can start to mess around with it intentionally. So you know that, okay, yeah, this triplet is supposed to be da 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 da, but maybe you want da 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 for some sort of like bringing out a specific note, or making sure that your vibrato is exactly the way you want it to be, and that's just for musical preference, and that's something that you want to make sure you're showing the committee as well. So you're showing them basically that you're awesome. So like your intonation's really good, your rhythm's really good, your dynamics are really good, and then you also have an idea and an intention behind the shape of all of the phrases. Other things that go along with showing that intent and the shape of the phrases is your bow speed and your vibrato. So this in particular will be with the Elgar vibrato and bow speed. And we don't want in the Elgar to have the same bow speed. You want to let your bow speed up and slow down with dynamics and with the shape of the phrase. So as I'm getting louder, I'm letting my bow travel a little faster, and then as I get softer, I let it slow down a little bit. And my vibrato is also mirroring that. So it's going to get a little wider and faster as I get towards the top of a phrase, and then slow down and become just a little bit narrower as I relax in the phrase. All right, that's a lot of stuff so far. I'm going to keep talking. All of it goes together though, and it's all really important, and it's all going to help you become a better cellist, as well as hopefully succeed in your all-state audition. So this goes along with the preparation. Slow practicing. I'm sure you've heard this from your teachers, from your orchestra directors, from any person that coaches you in chamber music or whatever. Your whole life, people have said this in like pertaining to playing the cello. Same with me. People have told me this my entire life, and it took a long time for it to sink in, but it is incredibly important. Practicing slowly is the only way to learn something consistently. The saying goes, practice makes perfect. That's not really true. Practice makes permanent. So you want to make sure that you're practicing exactly what you want. So when you're practicing slowly, you can exaggerate everything. You can exaggerate your dynamics. You can really make sure that your intonation is exactly what you want. Your articulations are exactly what you want. You can figure out every single detail, and you can work it into your preparation. And then as you start getting faster, or once you start getting closer to the day, all those slow details that you've put in are going to become permanent. And as you get faster, or as you get nervous, all of that is going to stay with you, and it's going to be much more solid, much more secure than if you just play really fast through everything every single time you practice it. All right. One last thing with preparation. I mentioned this very briefly with the metronome and tuner, seeing if you can get something that also includes a recording device. Most phones or tablets have something built in already, and that's totally fine. But record yourself. That's the best way to learn and figure out exactly what you sound like. It doesn't have to be studio quality like I am right now. That doesn't matter. Just on I have done it on just my phone, and it's enough to know really what it sounds like. It doesn't have to be super high quality. Sometimes high quality makes you sound better than you do. So record yourself so that you know on that day exactly what you sound like. You walk into that audition room, You're going to be a little nervous. You're going to be a little scared. Things aren't going to feel exactly the same. You're in a new space. There's probably a screen or something up, and there's going to be strangers around that you don't know. You're just going to not feel comfortable. But when you've recorded yourself, you've practiced slowly, you know exactly what you want to do. And your body knows exactly what you want it to do. And it's just going to do it. So you can trust yourself, and you can trust that it's going to sound good. And you can trust that you're going to play to the absolute best of your ability, even if you don't feel good. Two of the most important things I want you to take away from this video are practicing slowly and recording yourself. And the third thing is, on the day of the audition, the people who are listening to you want you to do well. They want to hear you play the best you possibly can play. No one wants to sit for 4 hours or 5 hours and hear a whole bunch of people play badly, because that's just not fun. They want everyone to succeed. I know, I've been there, and mentally you don't really think that. You don't feel that. You feel like you're just being judged, but you're not. Well, you are, but you're not being judged. No one wants you to fail in their judgment. They want you to succeed in their judgment. All of the work that you've done, all of that slow practice, all of that recording, all of that really detailed work, all of that is just going to help you succeed and do your absolute best, and trust yourself on the day of your audition.